One day, we will leave this world behind. No one can escape that. Whether you are rich or poor, wise or simple, powerful or ordinary, the final door opens the same for everyone. Death doesn't care about status, age, or belief. It is the eternal law. From the moment we let out our first cry at birth, we are already taking our first steps toward it. So if death is inevitable, then what is the point of life? This question isn't new, it has lingered in human minds since the beginning of time. Some fear it and try to run away by staying busy, pretending it doesn't exist. Others dare to look it in the eye and spend their whole lives asking, what am I living for? Who am I living for? Some say, we live to love. But love can change, break apart, or fade when life takes unexpected turns. Others say, we live to achieve status and wealth. But fame only lasts while someone remembers you. And wealth can't follow you through the final door. Some choose to live for pleasure, to chase fleeting joys, but pleasures vanish quickly when old age or illness comes knocking. So in the end, what remains? What can truly stay with us when we cross that final threshold? Maybe only this, the kindness we plant in others' hearts, and the peace we build within our own. Life, when seen deeply, is never really ours to keep. We borrow this body, this breath, we borrow a brief chance to be human. One day, all that we borrow must return to dust. But how we live, that's the only part we truly own. We don't get to choose where we are born or to whom. But every morning when we wake up, we can choose how we treat ourselves, how we treat others, and how we face this world. Some people spend their whole lives quietly sowing seeds of kindness, a gentle question, a warm hand, a glance that offers hope to someone who feels lost. They might never be famous or leave behind grand legacies, but they move through this world like a small light, warm enough to help someone find their faith in humanity again. Some choose to turn inward, to heal old wounds, to transform anger into compassion. They make their own lives a lesson. Peace does not come from the outside, but from within, from a mind that learns to let go, to accept, to forgive. They do not fear death, because they have learned to die a little each day, letting parts of greed, resentment, and illusion fall away. What do we live for? Who do we live for? There is no single answer for everyone. Each of us must find our own truth, no one else can lend us theirs. Some find meaning in serving others. Some find it in silent meditation. Some stay close to family, treasuring the simplest moments. Others roam the wide world, crossing distant lands just to see how vast life is, and how small we truly are. Whatever path we choose, maybe there's one thing in common: live in a way that, when it's time to say goodbye, there are no regrets. No regrets for words left unspoken, for hugs we didn't give, for calls we never made. No regrets for wasting too much time on anger and pride. No regrets for living a life that never felt like our own. Someday, when our final breath leaves us, everything we've gathered will be left behind. But if right now, in this moment, we can smile, say words of love, gratitude, and forgiveness, then death becomes just another doorway. We go without fear or bitterness. And if anything remains, it will be the seeds of goodness we planted, the gentle memories living on in the hearts of those we touched. So if death is certain, then let life be a mindful journey. Be awake enough to see how precious each moment is. Be awake enough to remember how fragile we are, and how fragile the people beside us are too. Be awake enough not to waste our love, not to hold back our kindness, not to hesitate to share a warm glance or a comforting word. We can't live forever, but we can live deeply. To live deeply is to show up fully, to feel gratitude for the rain, the sunshine, the sound of birds, the simple gift of a free breath. It's to hold the hand of someone we love, knowing tomorrow we may have to let go. And if one day we must leave, then let us leave like an autumn leaf returning to the earth, gently, without clinging. Let us leave behind a little warmth, a bit of trust, and a quiet peace that others can carry on. In that way, this brief life is long enough for us to understand, living is how we prepare for dying. And death, when welcomed with a calm heart, is just a return, a homecoming to the boundless space we never truly left behind. Death, the truth we all try to avoid. Every day, we live as if we're immortal. We make long-term plans, stack up dreams, set goals we never start, make promises we think we'll keep someday. But have we ever asked ourselves, when is someday? Will it really come? Or is it just a way to soothe the fear deep inside us? The truth is, every breath we take is one step closer to death. From the moment we are born, we carry within us the seed of our own ending. But we pretend it's not there. We fear it, avoid talking about it, look away when someone else passes away, as if ignoring death will somehow keep it away from us. We stay so busy that we forget why we exist in the first place. We race against time, trying to earn more money, collect more achievements, hoping to fill the invisible emptiness inside. We stuff our closets, our fridges, our nights with small talk and temporary connections, but we leave our own souls empty. We're afraid to sit alone in silence. Because in the quiet we might hear the question we've been running from, am I truly living, or just drifting through the days half awake? One day, there will be no more time to postpone what really matters. One day, we will lie on a hospital bed, staring at a blank white ceiling, listening to the hum of a breathing machine, feeling every breath grow heavier, and realizing, helplessly, that we can't buy even one more second. The people we thought would always be there slowly fade away. And all that's left is us, alone, facing our final breath. Then we'll wonder, all these years, did I truly live? Or did I just let the days pass by while life carried me along? How many meetings did I skip because I was too busy? How many hugs left ungiven? How many words of love unsaid? How many childhood dreams buried under the weight of grown-up worries? Death, in truth, isn't an enemy to fear, it's a great teacher. It reminds us how fragile life is, how easily everything can disappear in a heartbeat. Because of that, every moment we're still breathing, still seeing sunlight, still hearing birds sing, still holding someone's warm hand, is a gift that will never come again. If we understand this, we stop living as if we're immortal. We start living as if today could be our last. We find the courage to say sorry, to say I love you, to help someone without expecting anything in return. We learn to appreciate each meal, each good night's sleep, each carefree smile. We stop postponing happiness. We stop using someday as an excuse. We begin what we always dreamed of starting, picking up a guitar, writing a book, taking that trip, calling our parents just to hear their voices. We allow ourselves to live our own true lives, not the lives others expect us to live. When we accept death as a natural part of life, we stop fearing it. And when we stop fearing death, we finally become free to live. We're no longer bound by status, by others' opinions, by rigid expectations. What's left is honesty, gentleness, and a heart wide open to the world. What if, right now, we paused for just a moment and asked ourselves, if today were my last day, what would I do? What would I say? What would I hold on to? And what would I let go? Try to answer that, then look at how you're living now. Maybe you'll start to smile more. Maybe you'll forgive the ones who hurt you. Maybe you'll treasure the person quietly standing by your side, even when words fall short. Maybe you'll watch the sunset as if you're seeing it for the first time. One day, this breath will stop. But what's far scarier than dying is realizing you wasted your whole life chasing things that don't matter. Don't wait until your last moments to wish, I wish I had lived differently. The truth is, we are not immortal. And death, no matter how hard we run, is always quietly moving closer. So live in a way that when it comes, you can smile and say, I have lived fully. I have loved, I have cried. I have laughed, I have fallen and stood up again. I have nothing left to regret. That's the only way to defeat death, with a life filled with meaning, love, courage, and freedom. And when the final moment comes, we'll leave lightly, leaving behind a gentle footprint that nothing can erase. Death in Buddhism, not the end. In Buddhism, death is not seen as a full stop. It's not the final curtain, nor a punishment, nor something to fear or run away from. Death, in the eyes of the Buddha's teachings, is simply a door, a passage that opens into another journey. Another form, another chance to continue the endless flow of life and consciousness. For Buddhists, death is a teacher. It reminds us that everything is impermanent. That nothing, not our bodies, our possessions, our relationships, or even our thoughts, stays the same forever. We are born, we grow old, we fall sick, we die, and in that cycle, every ending is also a beginning. Just as every beginning already carries the seed of an ending within it. When we truly see this, the fear of death starts to soften. We realize that clinging tightly to life doesn't make it longer, it only makes it heavier. Instead of resisting death, Buddhism invites us to look deeply into it, to understand it, and to let its truth shape the way we live right now. Because when we remember death, we wake up to life. Death teaches us that tomorrow is never guaranteed. That the person we love, the breath we take, the meal we share, all of it is precious exactly because it won't last forever. This is why Buddhism teaches that to live well is to prepare gently for death. Not in sadness or fear, but with calm awareness and gratitude for each fleeting moment. To live mindfully, we learn to be fully present, to truly see the sunrise. To feel the warmth of another's hand, to listen to the sound of rain without wishing it would stop. We learn to let go of anger, of grudges, of attachments that weigh the heart down. We learn to forgive, to love more deeply, to be less afraid. A Buddhist master once said, "When you understand impermanence, every moment becomes eternal." When we see that everything changes, every single heartbeat, every breath, every word spoken with love, all of it shines brighter because it is here now, and may never come again. So how does one prepare for death in the Buddhist way? Not by building a fortress around the body, not by running from sickness or aging, but by tending to the mind and the heart. By learning to sit quietly with ourselves. By calming the waves of anger and fear. By seeing how desire and clinging create suffering, and gently loosening our grip. Meditation is one path. When we meditate, we die a little each time, dying to old thoughts, to restlessness, to illusions of control. We practice letting go again and again, so that when the final letting go comes, we know how to greet it with a clear mind and an open heart. For Buddhists, a good death is not about comfort or luxury, it's about peace. Peace comes when we have lived a life true to ourselves. Peace comes when we have spoken our truth, given love freely, asked for forgiveness when we needed to, and offered it just the same. A person who understands death does not waste time. They don't hold on to petty grudges. They don't postpone dreams forever. They don't keep love locked up inside them, waiting for the perfect moment. They know that the perfect moment is now, because now is all there really is. Death reminds us to live with intention. To bow to each morning as a blessing. To eat mindfully, walk mindfully. Breathe mindfully, because every act is sacred when you know it could be the last. And when the moment comes to leave, the Buddhist does not see it as a tragedy. They see it as part of the great flow, a returning to the vast ocean of life. They believe we do not truly disappear. We transform. Our kindness lives on in the hearts of others. Our actions ripple outwards, touching lives we may never even know. So instead of fearing death, Buddhism asks, are you ready to live fully today? Are you ready to let each sunrise remind you that life is precious because it is fragile? Are you willing to see each goodbye, each aging wrinkle, each falling leaf as a gentle teaching of impermanence? If you understand this, you hold a great freedom. Nothing lasts forever, and that is not a curse, but a gift. It means we can cherish what we have while we have it. It means we can forgive more easily, love more honestly, and let go more lightly. One day, you and I will breathe our final breath. But that day is not here yet. So today, ask yourself, what can I let go of? What can I forgive? Whom can I love more deeply, right now? When we live with death in our hearts, life itself becomes deeper, wider, calmer. Each moment is more vivid. Each touch more real. Each breath more sacred. To see death not as an end but as a doorway, this is Buddhism's quiet, fearless gift. It does not promise immortality. It promises freedom. So breathe in, and know this moment is enough. Breathe out, and know you are ready, not just to die someday, but to truly live. Here and now. Why must we live, even knowing we will die? Have you ever wondered, if in the end we all die, then what's the point of living? If all the money, fame, status, or achievements will be left behind one day, what makes us wake up every morning, take a deep breath, and keep moving forward? We live, not to defeat death. We live, to understand that death is not to be feared. And only while we are still breathing can we do things that will be impossible once we are gone. Only when we're alive can we truly understand ourselves. As long as we breathe, we still have the chance to look inward. To ask ourselves, who am I? What wounds am I still carrying? Who and what am I living for? Some answers only appear when we dare to pause in the middle of life's endless rush, when we stop running from our fears and face the hidden desires we've buried for so long. Life is our only chance to touch the deepest truth of who we really are. Only when we're alive can we learn to let go of hatred. As long as we're here, we still have time to forgive others and ourselves. We still have time to set down the heavy burdens we've carried for decades. The anger, jealousy, and resentment we hold on to, in the end, they only imprison our own hearts. We forgive not because others deserve it, but because we deserve peace. Only when we're alive can we learn how to love and forgive deeply. No one is born knowing how to love perfectly. We all begin with selfishness, demands, and sometimes we hurt the ones we love without even knowing it. To live is to learn how to love someone without trying to own them. To love without caging them in our expectations. Living means opening our hearts to what we can't control, accepting what is different. Only by living can we keep practicing how to love, even though love itself sometimes brings pain. Only when we're alive can we share our compassion with the world. A gentle look, an honest question. A hand reaching out to someone in despair, only the living can do these things. A hug, a meal shared, a word of encouragement, sometimes they save someone from the edge of hopelessness. While we're still here, we can be a seed of kindness, planting trust and warmth in this world. When we're gone, our arms can no longer open to embrace someone who needs it. Death is like a bell, reminding us that each day we live is a miracle. It's precisely because we know death will come that we can see how precious life really is. If everything lasted forever, maybe we wouldn't treasure a sunrise, a quiet afternoon breeze, or a simple dinner with family. Impermanence makes every moment priceless. An ending makes every beginning sacred. When we remember that we don't live forever, we live more honestly. We stop wasting time on petty grudges and pointless comparisons. We stop holding back our love until it's too late to say it. We stop burying our dreams just because we're afraid to fail. We start daring to live true, imperfect maybe, but at least real. Many people spend their entire lives fearing death, yet never fear that they're dying a little every day inside a meaningless life. We can breathe, eat, sleep, and work, but if we don't love, don't share, don't know why we wake up each day, how different are we from shadows drifting aimlessly? Death is not as frightening as turning ourselves into living corpses, trapped in the race for money and status, losing touch with our own soul. The scariest thing is not when our eyes finally close forever, but when they're still open yet our spirit has withered, our heart no longer feels alive. So live, deeply, slowly, fully. Use each day you have left to do something meaningful. Sit beside someone who needs to be heard. Wipe away someone's tears. Forgive someone, and forgive yourself too. Let each moment pass with purpose, because you know it will never come back. Why must we live, even knowing we will die? Because only while we live can we turn this short time into something timeless, timeless in the hearts of those we've touched with our love, our kindness, and the light we've shared. One day, we will leave. But today, we're still here, still breathing, still laughing, still crying, still loving. Don't let this life become meaningless just because we forget why we're here. When we truly understand this, we stop fearing death. We start feeling grateful for it, because it teaches us how to live. And to live deeply, fully. And honestly, that is the gentlest way to be ready to greet death when it comes, with a calm spirit and a peaceful smile. Living is planting seeds, not running a race. We are not here just to prove ourselves. We are not here to run faster than someone else, to win over them, or to stand above them. Life, at its deepest, is not a competition. It is not a race we must finish first. It is a garden, and we are here to plant seeds. We live to plant seeds of kindness, of understanding, of wisdom, of compassion. Every word we speak, every choice we make, every way we show up for another person, it is all a seed. Some seeds bloom quickly, some stay buried for years before they sprout. And some may never bloom where we can see them, but they still take root somewhere beyond our eyes. In this world, we are taught too often to chase. Chase success. Chase status. Chase more things to own, more praise to collect, more power to hold. We are taught to measure our worth by how much higher we stand than someone else. But the truth is, when the final moment comes, no trophy, no bank balance, no medal will follow us through that last doorway. So what will? What stays behind when we are gone is the garden we have quietly tended. The gentle words that comforted someone on their darkest day. The hand we offered when someone was about to give up. The warmth we shared with people who never forgot how we made them feel. Living is not a sprint from birth to death. Living is millions of tiny moments where we get to choose, will I plant a seed of anger, or a seed of peace? Will I water the weeds of jealousy? Or will I nurture flowers of trust and forgiveness? Will I pass my pain on to others, or will I learn to transform it into understanding? When we live with this awareness, we stop seeing life as a race to be the best, and start seeing it as a chance to be true. We see each encounter as fertile soil. We meet strangers with open hearts. We greet old friends with gentleness instead of old resentments. We choose to speak words that heal instead of words that wound. A wise person once said, "Your actions are your only true belongings. Everything else can be lost, youth fades, money flows in and out. Even loved ones can drift away, but what you plant in the world with your actions and words lives on in ways you may never fully know." So why run? Why push yourself to exhaustion to win a race that has no real finish line? Instead, why not slow down and notice, here is someone sitting alone, can I offer them company? Here is someone burdened with sorrow, can I ease their load with a listening ear? Here is someone who hurt me, can I forgive them, for my own peace and for theirs? Seeds are small, but they are powerful. One kind word can echo through generations. One act of compassion can inspire another, and another, and another, like ripples across a still pond. One moment of patience can save a life from breaking under anger. When we live as seed planters, we find ourselves lighter. We don't need to compare so much anymore. We don't need to prove so much anymore. We don't need to grasp so tightly for things that slip through our fingers anyway. We begin to trust that just by being kind, honest, and awake, we are already fulfilling a purpose bigger than any medal or prize. Someday, when you leave this world, and you will, what will remain? Not the size of your house. Not the title before your name. Not the zeros in your account. But maybe someone will remember you as the one who gave them courage to keep going when they thought they had none left. Someone may remember you as the friend who showed up when everyone else turned away. Someone may remember you as the quiet light in a dark place. In the end, that is all we can truly leave behind. The seeds we planted in other people's hearts. So live in a way that you plant more than you take. Speak in a way that you heal more than you harm. Give in a way that you lighten the burdens of those who walk beside you. Let others run if they wish. Let others chase prizes if they choose. You, just keep tending your garden. Just keep planting your seeds. Just keep watering the kindness that the world so desperately needs. Because one day, long after you are gone, somewhere in a place you will never see, a flower will bloom, and someone will feel hope again. And maybe, just maybe, that is the only victory worth living for. Don't wait until your deathbed to start living. So many people only truly wake up when they stand at the edge of death. Lying on a hospital bed, surrounded by white walls and the hum of machines. They finally see how fragile life has always been. They finally see how many moments they wasted, moments they thought would come again, but now never will. When faced with death, we suddenly see what really matters. We wish we had been braver, softer, more forgiving. We wish we had loved more openly, spoken our truth more honestly. Spent more time with those who truly mattered, and far less time worrying about things that never did. But why wait until the final hour to wake up? Why wait until the clock is almost out of time to realize that life was never meant to be a mindless routine? Why wait until your body is too weak to move to understand how precious it was just to be able to walk outside, to take a deep breath, to hug someone you love? Right now, this moment, you still have time. You are still here. Your heart is still beating. There is air in your lungs and a spark in your spirit. Even if it's buried under layers of worries and plans and distractions. So don't wait. Don't wait for a diagnosis to remind you that life is short. Don't wait for an accident to remind you that tomorrow is not promised. Don't wait for old age to remind you that you were young once, and you could have done so much more with your days. What does it mean to truly live now? It doesn't mean abandoning all your responsibilities or chasing reckless pleasures. It means waking up. It means seeing that each day is a chance to return to what matters most, being here, really here. It means looking at the people you love and telling them so, not later, not someday, but today. It means forgiving others and yourself, so that when you lie down at night, your heart is light and your sleep is peaceful. To live now is to do things that feed your soul, not just your schedule. It is to pause for a moment to watch sunlight dance on a wall, to listen to the rain without rushing it away. It is to breathe slowly enough to feel that you are alive, that this moment is all that's real. Living mindfully is how we prepare for dying, not with dread, but with peace. If you've lived awake, you don't need to fear what comes next. When you die, you leave behind a life you truly lived, not one you merely drifted through half-conscious. Too often, we think there will be a right time to change. A better day to love more deeply. A more convenient moment to chase a dream, mend a broken bond, apologize for our mistakes. But life doesn't wait for us to be ready. It keeps flowing, moment by moment, breath by breath, whether we're paying attention or not. If you could hear your future self whispering from that final bed, what would they say? Maybe they would beg you, don't waste today. Maybe they would say, be here now. Tell the truth. Hold them closer. Laugh more. Let it go. Let it be. And if you knew this was your last season, how would you spend it? What would you forgive? What would you say? Who would you become? If you knew there was nothing to lose by being fully, wildly, tenderly yourself. Don't wait until your eyes are clouded to see clearly. Don't wait until your hands are too weak to hold what you love. Don't wait until your final breath to wish you had lived differently. Right now, you can choose to live awake. You can choose to be present, fully here, fully you. You can choose to listen to your inner voice instead of the noise outside. You can choose to show kindness instead of anger, to give instead of grasping, to breathe instead of rushing. Death is not the enemy. Unlived life is. The greatest tragedy is not that we die, it's that we never truly live before we do. So breathe in this moment. Feel your heart beating in your chest. Look at the sky above you, the people beside you, the path you still get to walk. Be grateful, not in fear of losing it all, but in deep wonder that you have it at all. One day, your final moment will come. But let it come to a person who has already practiced dying every day, dying to pride, to bitterness, to regrets, so that when the last goodbye arrives, it feels more like coming home than running away. Live now. Love now. Forgive now. Let the people you care about know they matter now. Let your days be filled with meaning, not just busyness. Let your words heal, not wound. Let your presence be a gift, not a burden. This is how we prepare for death, not by fearing it, but by meeting it with a heart at peace. A heart that knows. I did not wait until the end to start living. I was alive, truly alive, every moment I was given. The enlightened do not fear death, because they have truly lived. The Buddha once said, "Whoever sees impermanence, sees the Dharma." This simple line holds a truth that can transform a lifetime of fear. For the awakened ones, the enlightened beings who have tasted life fully, death is not something to dread. It is simply another part of this endless flow of birth, change, and letting go. Why do the awakened not fear death? Because they have learned how to live without clinging. They have seen through the illusions that tie most of us in knots. The illusion that we can keep anything forever, the illusion that anything in this world is truly ours to hold. They live each day as if it were both the first and the last. For them, life is a river, always moving, never the same twice. And because they see this, they do not try to grasp at the water with clenched fists. They let it flow through their open hands, savoring each drop without trying to dam the stream. A person who lives this way, awake, unattached, unafraid, can smile when death comes, because they have no regrets left behind. They have said what needed to be said, loved how they wanted to love, forgiven what needed forgiving, and let go of what needed releasing. They have lived fully, so they can die fully, with calmness, with gratitude, with a smile. Most of us fear death because we live half asleep. We postpone dreams. We bite our tongues when we long to speak. We hold grudges until they calcify inside us. We waste precious days on trivial worries, ignoring the miracle of simply being alive. Then, when death draws near, we panic. We wish for more time, not because life is too short, but because we never truly lived the time we had. It is not wrong to fear death. It is human. It is natural. But to live without ever asking why, that is the real tragedy. To drift through your days without ever turning inward to see what you're clinging to, what you're running from, what you're hiding from yourself, that is a sorrow deeper than death itself. The enlightened ones remind us that fear softens when understanding grows. When we see the truth of impermanence, we stop wasting energy pretending things will stay the same. We begin to cherish what is here now. The morning sun. The sound of the wind through leaves. The warmth of a friend's presence. The softness in our own breath. To see impermanence is to see the path. This is not philosophy, it is a direct, living insight. When you see that nothing lasts, you see that there is no point in clinging to anger, pride, resentment, or greed. These poisons lose their grip. And in their place, compassion and kindness naturally bloom. When you truly live this way, death loses its sting. It becomes like the setting sun, not something to curse, but something to watch gently, gratefully. The sky darkens, the stars appear, and you know, this too is part of the dance. Great teachers, monks, sages, when their time comes, they sit upright, eyes soft, breath calm. Some even laugh. Because what is there to mourn? They have done what they came to do, to awaken, to help others awaken. To live each day with eyes wide open and heart unguarded. They leave behind not wealth, but seeds of wisdom. Not monuments of stone, but gentle ripples of compassion that keep spreading long after their bodies have turned to dust. If we wish to be unafraid when our final hour arrives, we must practice now. We must learn to die every day, die to our attachments, our stubborn pride, our petty feuds. We must die to the parts of us that are false, so that what remains is true and light. To live fully is to prepare for death not by building walls, but by tearing them down. By softening the heart instead of hardening it. By forgiving ourselves for all the times we fell short, and forgiving others for all the ways they didn't know how to love us better. Ask yourself, if you knew the hourglass was running out, what would you say today? Who would you hold? What weight would you finally set down? This is how the enlightened live, not waiting for the final breath to understand the value of each moment. They carry impermanence like a lantern. It lights their path, reminding them, nothing stays, so love deeply now. Forgive quickly now. Be kind now. Breathe with awareness now. One day, you will be gone. Your body will rest, your name may fade, but the seeds of your actions, your words, your kindness, your wisdom, will remain. Fear death if you must, that is human. But do not waste life by fearing to live it. Do not postpone your awakening until your last breath. Let impermanence wake you up now, so that when death knocks, you too can smile, knowing you saw the path, you walked it with open eyes, and you did not leave your soul asleep in the shadows. Live so fully that when you die empty of regrets. But full of love, just as the Buddha and the awakened ones did. Because they knew, to see impermanence is to see the way, and to live by it is to be truly free. Live as if today were your last day. If today were the last day you would exist in this world, how would you spend it? What would you say to the people you love, the ones who have always been there? Even in silence. What truths would you speak that you've been too afraid to say? Who would you forgive, even if they never asked? Who would you hold one last time? Letting them feel your warmth without any words at all. Most people live as if they have forever. They store up dreams in boxes labeled, someday. They save words of love for tomorrow. They postpone healing old wounds because they think they'll have time later. But time is not something you can hoard. It slips through your fingers quietly, moment by moment. Until one day you wake up and realize you have more memories behind you than you have days ahead. When you remember death, not in fear, but in honesty, you remember what really matters. The question is never, how much time do I have left? The real question is, how much love and kindness can I pour into the time I do have? If today were truly your last sunrise, would you still argue about things that won't matter tomorrow? Would you keep replaying old resentments in your mind? Would you still scroll through your phone instead of looking into someone's eyes? Truly seeing them, not as a role they play in your life, but as a living, breathing soul walking their own fragile path. To live as if today were your last day is not to give up your responsibilities or abandon your plans. It is to live awake, to know that every word, every hug, every act of care leaves an imprint that will outlast your breath. It is to make peace with the parts of yourself you've hidden away. It is to sit with your regrets, hold them tenderly, and forgive yourself for not knowing better when you were younger. It is to look at those you have hurt and those who have hurt you, and to understand, we are all stumbling toward love. Sometimes clumsily, sometimes blindly, but still, we try. If today were your last day, you would not worry so much about your mistakes. You would see that you are more than the sum of what you did wrong. You would see how many times you chose kindness when you could have chosen bitterness. You would see how your laughter warmed someone's cold day. You would see how your simple presence, your being here, mattered more than you ever realized. We spend so much energy trying to prove ourselves, to win, to achieve, to look like we have it all together. But at the end, when your breath grows shallow, none of that can be carried with you. The only thing that remains is the love you gave and the love you allowed yourself to receive. So if you knew today was your last, what grudges would you set down? What apology would you whisper? What message would you leave behind, written in the soft language of the heart? When you live like this, with death as your quiet teacher, you stop waiting for the perfect moment. You realize this moment is perfect because it is the only one you truly have. You start telling people you love them without waiting for the right mood or the right words. You start laughing louder. You cry when you need to, because there is no time to pretend you don't feel. You reach out for hands you thought you'd lost. You hold your parents longer when you hug them. You smile at strangers more often. You give without calculating what you'll get back. To live as if today were your last day is to live gently but boldly, to be unafraid of tenderness. It is to be generous with your time, your touch, your attention. It is to notice small, beautiful things, the sound of the wind at night, the warmth of tea between your palms. The softness of a child's laughter drifting down a hallway. One day, today will be your last. Maybe you'll know it's coming. Maybe you won't. But when that moment arrives, may you have no need to beg for more time just to say what you could have said today, to feel what you could have felt today, to love as deeply as you could have loved today. Life asks so little of us, really, to love and to be kind. We make it complicated with our pride, our fear, our endless distractions. But under it all, the question is always simple. How much of yourself are you willing to give to this moment, fully awake, fully alive? If today is the last day you have, live it well. Say what you need to say. Forgive who you need to forgive. Let your heart soften. Hold someone like it's the last time, because one day, it will be. And when that final day truly comes, may you close your eyes not with regret, but with a quiet smile. Knowing you loved fiercely, forgave freely, and gave your whole heart to life while you had the chance. Because the question is never, how long do I have left? The real question is, how much love and kindness can I pour into the time I do have? The deeper meaning of death, returning home. Buddhism does not force you to believe anything blindly. There is no demand for blind faith, no threat of punishment for doubt. Instead, it invites you to look deeply. To sit quietly and ask yourself questions that echo through your entire life. Where did I come from? Where will I go when this body is gone? And what will I leave behind when I do? These questions are not meant to frighten you. They are meant to awaken you. To stir something ancient inside you that remembers, you are more than this body. You are more than your name, your possessions, your worries, and your plans. In Buddhism, death is not a thief that steals from you. Death does not rob you of anything real. Instead, it peels away the layers that were never truly you in the first place. The roles. The masks. The titles. The illusions of permanence. What is left when all that is stripped away? That is the true question. To sit with death is to sit with life's deepest mystery. The mystery of where you came from and where you are going. Most people are afraid to ask these questions, because they fear the silence that follows. But in that silence is freedom. When you sit still enough to wonder where did I come from? You touch the truth that life did not begin when you were born, and it does not end when you die. Your body came from stardust. From earth and water, from countless generations of ancestors. Your mind, your consciousness, is part of something vast and timeless, a flow that cannot be owned, only experienced. Where will I go? This question is not about geography. It is about understanding that death is not a final wall, but a door, a return. Just as waves rise and fall back into the ocean, so too does life arise and dissolve back into the great mystery. And what will I leave behind? This is perhaps the most human of questions. Not your possessions, they scatter. Not your achievements, they fade. But the seeds you plant in the hearts of others, the kindness you give, the wisdom you share, these ripple outward long after your ashes have returned to the earth. The deeper meaning of death is that it reveals the deeper meaning of life. When you truly see that death does not erase you but returns you, you live differently. You stop clinging so tightly to what can never stay. You stop pretending you can control the flow. You begin to live with more honesty, more gentleness, more freedom. When you look at death not as an enemy but as a teacher, it loses its power to terrify you. It becomes a reminder that you do not have forever to waste. It urges you to wake up. To love while you can, forgive while you can, breathe deeply while you can. Death teaches you to be fully alive, right here, right now. In Buddhist practice, monks meditate on death not to feel morbid, but to remember impermanence. They reflect on the bones beneath their skin, the breath that comes and goes, the heartbeat that may stop at any moment. This is not morbid, it is liberating. When you remember that everything is borrowed, you stop hoarding life. You start giving yourself more freely. In the end, death does not take away anything that is truly yours. It simply returns you to your truest nature, the part of you that cannot die because it was never born in the way your body was. Call it Buddha nature. Call it pure awareness. Call it the boundless heart. Whatever you name it, it is what remains when all else falls away. So sit with these questions. Where did I come from? Where am I going? What will I leave behind? Let them shape the way you live today. Let them soften your fears and sharpen your gratitude. Let them remind you that every breath is a gift, and every goodbye is also a returning. Live so that when death comes, you do not shrink away. You greet it like an old friend who has come to guide you home, not to steal your life, but to free you from what you no longer need. And remember, the true essence of you is not lost. It was never separate from life to begin with. When the body falls away, the light that was always there remains. Death takes nothing real from you. It only gives you back to yourself, pure, whole, and free. A message to awaken. Death is a fact, no one can deny it. It doesn't matter who you are, rich or poor, strong or weak, brilliant or ordinary, in the end. Everyone must let go of everything and step through that final doorway. But awakening is a choice. No one can force you to stay asleep in ignorance, but no one can force you to wake up either. It depends on you, on the moment you find the courage to look directly at the truth, without running away, without numbing yourself with excuses, distractions, or fear. We often fear talking about death. Just mentioning it can make people uneasy, as if saying the word will somehow bring it closer. So we avoid it, ignore it, pretend it won't happen, but in doing so, we forget that death is not only an ending. It's also a reminder, a silent bell telling us how fragile and precious this life really is. If you are still breathing, still seeing the sunlight, still hearing the wind, the birds, the quiet beating of your own heart, then you still have a chance. A chance to pause and ask yourself, am I really living, or just existing? Countless people live as if they have endless days to postpone what truly matters, to love, to forgive, to say, I'm sorry, to say, thank you, to hug someone tight and mean it. They think there will always be more time. But who can promise tomorrow will come? Who can guarantee the next breath will arrive as gently as the last? Awakening is not something far away or mystical. It's not reserved for monks on mountaintops or sages in hidden temples. Awakening is simply realizing you are alive, truly, fully alive, in this very moment. It happens when you look deeply into the eyes of someone you love and see how lucky you are to be here to see them. It happens when you put down your phone, stop scrolling mindlessly, and listen, really listen, to yourself, to life, to the people right in front of you. Awakening is when you stop blaming, stop clinging, stop demanding that everything bend to your will. It's when you accept that everything changes, and it's this impermanence that makes each moment precious. Awakening is also when you dare to let go of old burdens, the mistakes, the fears, the painful memories, so you can live lighter, freer. Each day you forgive a little more, thank life a little more, love a little more. Slowly, your heart opens like a window welcoming the morning sun. You don't have to travel far to find this kind of awakening. You don't have to knock on monastery doors or climb sacred mountains, not if you aren't willing to first come home to yourself. The greatest pilgrimage always begins inside your own heart. If you are alive, if you are breathing, then you still have the privilege of beginning again. Don't wait until you are lying in a hospital bed to regret the words you never said, the things you never did. Don't let death come before you remember how to truly love. Live as if today were your last, not to waste time in reckless ways, but to stop wasting another moment on what doesn't matter. Spend your time on what does, a smile, a look, a hand held tightly, a word of encouragement, a moment of quiet listening. Maybe today feels ordinary, unremarkable. But who knows, maybe this very ordinary day is the first day you truly live, without regret, without pretending, without fear, without waiting for a better time. Are you awake enough to live today fully? If not, start now, with this breath, this heartbeat, this small but real chance to be grateful, to be kind, to be here. Maybe, just maybe, this tiny moment is the one that will change the rest of your life. Conclusion: if in the end there is death, then what are we living for? Perhaps, since the beginning of time. This has been the question that keeps the human heart awake at night. A child looks up at the night sky and wonders, who am I? Where did I come from? Where will I go when this is over? An old man lies on his bed, eyes closed, silently asking himself, in this long life, what did I truly live for? And no matter who you are, a young person full of dreams or someone who has already walked half their life's path, this question is always there, waiting for you to answer it. If in the end all the money, status, possessions, praise, and shallow connections must stay behind, then what truly stays with us when we go? Buddhism does not hand you a fixed answer, but it gently opens a path for you to look inward. We do not live to race, to prove ourselves, or to grasp at everything. We live to plant seeds. Seeds of kindness. Seeds of understanding. Seeds of gratitude, forgiveness, and compassion. To live is not to hoard as much as possible for ourselves, but to give as much as we can, so that when our hands finally let go, we know we were truly here, fully present, light-hearted, and without regrets. To live is not to waste our days sleepwalking through them, but to stay awake in every small moment. Sitting quietly listening to the rain, watching sunlight through the trees, holding someone we love, saying sorry, saying thank you, wishing someone well. These are the treasures that only reveal their true worth when we are close to saying goodbye. To live is also to face our fears and old wounds, so we stop passing that pain on to ourselves and others. It is daring to lay down the weight of anger and blame. It is learning to accept that everything changes, and that this impermanence makes each moment more precious than gold. Often, we chase the meaning of life in big things, big careers, big dreams, big recognition, and forget that true meaning lives in the small, ordinary moments: a warm meal shared, a smile given, a comforting hand when someone feels weak, an understanding glance that says, I see you, without a single word. When you understand impermanence, death stops being something to run from. You see that death is just a door, closing one form and opening another path. It is how we live that decides whether our mind is calm or restless, our heart light or heavy when we finally step through that door. So if in the end there is death, how will you choose to live today? Will you choose to say loving words or stay silent? Will you choose to forgive or keep holding grudges? Will you choose to drift through your days on autopilot, or wake up, living each moment as a small miracle? Everyone must find their own answer. You do not have to follow anyone else's way. You can choose to begin living more fully right now, with this breath. No need to wait for a distant someday that no one can promise will ever come. Ask yourself each night before you sleep. Did I truly live today? Did I love enough today? What did I forgive today? What seeds of goodness did I plant in the world today? Then repeat it tomorrow, and the next day. And the day after that, tending those seeds like a quiet garden in your heart. So when you lie down for the last time, all that remains are these seeds of kindness and wisdom, still growing in the hearts you touched along the way. You will go like a small, warm flame that once brought light and warmth to this world, leaving behind only gentle ripples of goodness. If this message has reached you today, maybe it's a sign, there is still time. There is still breath in your lungs, warmth in your chest, clarity in your mind. There is still time to forgive, to understand, to love a little more, to live a little deeper, so that when you finally go, you go empty of regrets, but full of life. If you feel these words touched something true in your heart, please consider subscribing to this channel. Let's continue to plant seeds of awareness, compassion, and peace together, and share this gentle light with many more people. And if you have thoughts, feelings, or your own story to share, leave a comment below. Your words may be the seed that awakens someone else, somewhere far away, reminding them that life is fragile, fleeting, and worth living with an open, fearless heart. Thank you for being here, right now. May you rest well tonight, wake gently tomorrow, and live your days so fully that when the final door opens, you will smile, knowing you truly lived.